The point-slope form. The point-slope form is when you're working with slope, you can find any point on a line and you can write an equation of the line by using the slope formula. There is a formula that you will need to know with the point-slope form, and our second bullet point here explains the formula. The point-slope form of a linear equation is when the line with slope m that contains the point x1, y1 can be described by the equation y minus y1 equals x, and then in the parentheses x minus x1. You're really going to need to know this formula for this section 5.8. In lesson 5.7, you graphed a line given its equation in slope-intercept form. You can also graph a line when given its equation in point-slope form. Start by using the equation to identify a point on the line, and then use the slope of the line to identify the second point. So we're going to get into some examples where we're going to be using the point-slope formula and then graphing points as well. Our first example has us writing an equation in the point-slope form for the line with the given slope that contains a given point. Here again is the point-slope formula, y minus y1 equals m. Remember, m is representing your slope, x minus x1. Here we have our slope that's given to us for a, so our slope is 2, and we have, 1/2 comma 1. So this would be x1, y1. So let's take this and use our formula to put it in the point-slope form. So I have y, we don't know what our y is, so we have y minus my y1, which is 1 based on this ordered pair, equals m, my slope, which is 2, times my x. We don't know what x is, but we do know what our x1 is, which is 1/2. So I have x minus 1/2. And this is my answer for A. So we've taken our slope and our ordered pair and put it in the point-slope form. Let's now look at the second one, B. We have a slope now of 0, and my ordered pair is 3 comma negative 4. I can label this 3x1, negative 4 is y1. So using my point-slope form, I have y minus my y1 is negative 4 equals m is my slope, which is 0, parentheses, x minus x1, which is 3. Now let's simplify this down because we have a double negative here which becomes positive, so what this really is y plus 4 equals, and since my slope, my m is 0, we're going to leave that blank and just put x minus 3. And that will be my final answer for B in the point-slope form. Now we are given equations that are in the point-slope form, and based on these equations we need to graph the line of these equations. So remember, the point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m parenthesis x minus x1. So let's look at our first example and label things we know here. We have y plus 2 equals negative parenthesis x minus 2. This plus 2 right here, this is representing my y1. Then I have this negative in front of the parenthesis. We can think of this as negative 1. And that's going to be representing my m. And then in my parentheses here, that minus 2 is representing my x1. So can I find my slope here? Yes, my slope is going to equal negative 1. In my ordered pair, my x and y, my x1 is, actually it's 2, not negative 2, because part of the form is x minus x1, so my x1 is 2, my y1 is negative 2. Why is it negative 2 and not positive 2? Because this is y plus 2. The form is y minus y1. So this must have been y minus a negative 2. Double negatives become a positive. So this is my slope in the ordered pair point. So now we can graph my ordered pair 2, negative 2 and graph a second point by using my slope. So let's graph a point starting at the origin 0, 0. We're going to go to the right 2, down 2, and plot my first point. Now I need to graph my second point, and so I look at my slope for that. My slope is negative 1, which means that I'm going to rise negative 1, meaning go down 1 and to the right 1. So from my point, I go down 1 to the right 1, and I'll put my second point. Whoops. We can graph a third point going down 1 and to the right 1. So notice we can continue graphing points. Then I can connect those points to draw my straight linear line. And this line represents my point slope formula or equation with a slope of negative 1 and points on the line that fall at 2, negative 2. Let's look now at B. We have y plus 3 equals negative 2, parenthesis x minus 1. Using the point slope form, y minus y1 equals m, my slope, x minus x1. Let's figure out what my slope and ordered pair are going to be. Well, my slope, here's my m, which is negative 2. So my slope equals negative 2. Then my ordered pair, we look at my y1 and my x1. My y1, it's showing plus 3. Since the form is y minus y1, my y1 is actually going to be negative 3. My x1 is going to be 1. So my point, my ordered pair, is 1, negative 3. My slope is negative 2. So let's graph this. So I'll graph 1, negative 3, starting at the origin. Go to the right 1. Go down 3, 1, 2, 3, plot my point. And then I'm going to use my slope, negative 2. We can think of this as negative 2 over 1 with rise over run. To graph some more points. So I will go down from my original point, down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1, and here I will connect my points to draw my linear line. Moving along, they want us to write the equation that describes each line in the slope-intercept form. So what we're going to do here is we are going to be looking at points that are given to us and then putting it in the slope-intercept form. Remember, the slope-intercept form is different than the point-slope form. The slope-intercept form is the y equals mx plus b form. My slope here is half. I have points negative 3, 1 that are going to fall on the line. So I'm going to use with what's given to me to put it in the point slope form. In this question here, for A and B, they're very similar to what we were working with point slope form in the last section. All right, so let's set up what's given in the slope-intercept form. We are given my slope, we're given x1, we're given y1. So when I think of y equals mx plus b, I am going to use my slope. So I have my y. Am I given my y? I am. I'm given 1. So I have 1 equals my slope, which is 1/3, times my x is -3, plus b. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to find my my y-intercept, my b. 1/3 times -3 is going to give me -3/3 plus b, which simplifies. -3/3 is going to give me -1. So what I have is 1 equals -1 plus b. To solve for b, I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So my b equals 2. I now have my y-intercept, I have my slope, so we can now write the equation in the slope-intercept form. My final answer will be for A, y equals my slope, m, 1/3, x plus my b, which is 2, what we just solved for. The next one, B, we have 2 points that are on the line, 1, -2 and 3, 10, and we want to put these, write an equation that describes the line in the slope-intercept form of y equals mx plus b. First thing we need to do is find the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I can label my ordered pairs here, x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have y2 minus y1, that would be 10 minus -2 over 3 minus 1. 10 minus -2, that's adding, so we're going to get 12 over 2, which simplifies to 6. So my slope is going to equal 6. Now that I found my slope, I'm going to erase this here so I can have enough room to write everything down. Now that I found my slope, I'm going to choose one of these 2 ordered pairs. I'll just choose the first one, this 1, -2, to set it up to write it in the slope-intercept form. So my y is going to be -2 equals my m. My m is my slope, 6, times my x, which is 1, plus b. We're going to solve for the y-intercept. 6 times 1 is 6, so -2 equals 6 plus b. Subtract 6 to each side. b is going to equal -8. Now that I found my y-intercept, I can write this in the slope-intercept form, in the form of y equals my m is 6x plus my b, my y-intercept is -8. And this is my final answer for B. The last example here, we are given points on a line and they want us to find the intercepts, the x-intercept and the y-intercept. And this is a little bit similar to what we've seen before in previous sections with the x and y-intercept, but we're going to be using the point slope form to help us solve this. First thing we need to do is we first need to find the slope. So we can label this x1, y1, x2, y2. y2, -3 minus y1 is 15 over x2, -4 minus x1 is 2. I simplify that down, -3 minus 15, -18 over -6, which simplifies to 3. So my slope of these 2 points and my line is going to be 3. Now that I have found my slope, I'm going to use the point slope form . Set this up using the point slope form, and then we're going to put it in the y-intercept form. I'm sorry, not the y-intercept form. the slope-intercept form.